Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 109 of High Scores, High Stakes, the competitive podcast that's not about us sweating tonight. It should be the games. I'm your host, as always, Mr Luvva Luvva, and with me are my co-hosts.
Yes, they are. Luvva Luvva. And it's great to see you. Cardinal Smith here, back for another lovely episode. Oh, this is going to be a good one.
I love it. Back as a trio again. It's Tomahawk here. How are we doing, guys?
Yeah, this is going to be a banger. So it is. This is going to be a banger, this episode. It's going to be high in discussion and probably fighting as well. But before we get into all the fighting with one another and arguing and discussing, let's get into the housekeeping. Okay, so if this is the 109th time you've listened to this, you can skip forward 2 minutes. If this is your first time, please don't do that. Listen to what we've got to tell you. We've got to tell you who we are and what we do. We are High Scores, High Stakes, and when we're in season, it is myself, Cardinal, and Tomahawk competing against one another in PlayStation gaming challenges. Every week we pick a new game and compete against each other in a league table. The winner of the challenge gets 3 points, second place gets 2 points, third place gets 1 point. The person who is top of the league after 12 weeks wins the sought-after, highly coveted, high quality, dishwasher safe, and also available on Fourth Wall. High Scores, High Stakes Cup. Of course, Tomahawk is our current champion. But if at the end of this podcast you realize your life is not complete without more High Scores, High Stakes content, and 1 hour-ish isn't enough to satiate your needs, go to highscoreshighstakes.com, and there you will find links to everywhere we are on the internet to fill your week with high-quality content.
Not just one mug, too. He's got both mugs to show off today.
He does. Mine is in the cupboard.
I just wonder when this is ever going to say season 4
Tomahawk. Never. I don't think so.
Or is that just season 4 asterisk cup?
Yes, the asterisk cup.
The less said, the better, guys, I think.
But yes, let's get through this, and then we can commence the duration of Tomahawk. Tomahawk is our current champion. He is the season 4 champ, and he wants to go back to back in season 5, which is right around the corner, and it is pretty much all prepped up. Don't tell them the truth. If you haven't given us a star rating, 1 star to 5, whatever you think worth, give us that. You can do that right now. If you want to give us a written review, that's even better. And if you want to go one further than just reviewing us or rating us, tell a friend or a family member you think will enjoy the podcast. That is still the most effective way of spreading the word about High Scores, High Stakes. And with all the housekeeping out the way, it is time for everyone's favorite question. Cardinal Smith, what are you playing?
Oh, love that. I tell you, I know what you guys have been playing, but I haven't downloaded it yet. What I've been playing is what do I want to say? I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Final Fantasy, I was going to say, what number of game are we playing?
Rebirth. And I'm in the Gongaga region, and I'm trying to 100% it before I move on to the next stage, right? Okay, let's get it out of the way. However, to keep myself sane, I played some different, something a bit on the side, and that's Final Fantasy VIII. I'm on disc 2, flying through that.
Incredible. Oh my days. High Scores, High Final Fantasies. Oh my
I can't wait till Cardinal branches off and side quests into his own Final Fantasy deep dive podcast. Because I listen to that for someone who has only ever played one Final Fantasy game ever. I was talking to you guys about this in the chat the other day. It's I need a gateway into more Final Fantasy, so I'm going to have to listen to Cardinal once in a while.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway.
I think we'll move on. There's really so much Final Fantasy VII Rebirth chat that people at home can listen to. This is not
Rinoa is my favorite.
Right. Tomahawk, please save the segment. What are you playing, mate?
I've been playing Days Gone Remastered on twitch.tv.
Okay.
It's gorgeous. The game is absolutely incredible.
It is. Yeah.
They've just they haven't done a great amount different to it, but it just looks so new and fresh and shiny.
I agree.
And I'm all for it.
It looks so clean now. The muddiness of the PlayStation 4 is gone. I think it's a really good remaster. The haptics in the controller Incredible.
unbelievable, especially when you're on the bike on all the dirt roads. It just has this great feel to it, and I think it's just going to get better and better as you progress through like the later biomes and other parts of the story and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember any plot beats. I remember like a few bits and pieces of it, like, but it feels like a fresh first playthrough, which I'm all for.
Yeah, agreed. I'm not that far, and I think I'm probably around about the same area as you are, actually. So I've just got to the second settlement and done the first 2 missions for that.
Yeah, I'm about the same at that point then as well. Between that, I have been taking on with blueprints as well. I got to the antechamber. I solved the puzzle to get there, and the old bait and switch tell me that basically I got the princesses in a different castle. Here's some more puzzles and another key that you have to go and solve. So, yeah, we're taking over into the 20 plus hours onto this game now, and we're still nowhere near end credits.
Good Lord. Yeah, no, I've played a bit of that in this week as well myself. I was enjoying it for the first couple of hours. I really was. I was like, oh, this is good. Tom was right. This is pretty decent. And then everything is RNG upon RNG upon RNG upon RNG. There's just so many variables of every single thing. I think it's too much. I think there's too much RNG. There's no, I know it's a rogue game and you're not meant to be planned, but there is absolutely, you can plan for nothing in this game. And the game seems to take great delight in just shafting you.
I was like, here's a red room, here's a red room, here's a red room. Yeah, they tend to be the run killers.
Every single time. Every single time. And I don't know if it's a me thing, but the church tile seems to be the worst for it. So the church, you walk in, it takes 1 coin from you. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Don't really know what the coins do other than the shop and the kitchens or whatever. But there's 2 exits, one on each side. And I find a lot of the time one of them is barred. Like it's boarded, closed. And it's just like, what is this? What's going on? And at first I thought it was me. I thought it was a me problem. I was like, am I putting this beside a tile that has something already in it? But not all the time. And it's just like, I don't know. It's a good game, but it's not. I don't think it's a love game. I don't think it's for me at all.
You can get like redraft abilities where you can rotate the room tile, so it'll open it up in a different direction. But yeah, I think you need to give it a bit of time and just appreciate that it's going to be completely different, and you can't plan. You can get like permanent buffs that will go across all of your runs, but yeah, if it's not for you, it's not for you, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to force myself to play it. I have been doing it every now and again. I'm like, well, I have 15 minutes here. I'll do a run, but I don't know if what's happening to me can be described as enjoyment. I can appreciate it. It's gorgeous. It's a gorgeous looking game. But yeah, no, it's just far too much randomness in it for me. It's not for me. I don't think I'll play it.
Let me take you out of that blueprints negativity and positivity. Nice black and white contrast from you there, guys, because we're going to need that. We're going to need that debate.
Yes.
But one thing before we go, I forgot I was playing Oblivion Remastered. But on the PC. No, it's exciting. Don't you start. We'll get into that. Save that for Elder Scrolls chat. No, it's fantastic. It's amazing. I forgot how much I missed the acrobat skill. The acrobat skill in Oblivion is ridiculous. The more you jump, the higher you can jump. So, like, you can get level 99 and you're just going, boing.
Oh,
and, like,
okay.
leaping into the sky.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I first, what I thought you meant there was, do you remember old Quake 2 engine games used to have bunny hopping, where the more you physically jumped, the faster and faster you got? I thought that's what you're talking about. I thought they skilled a bug. Okay, cool. That's classic Bethesda.
No, but it's funny. This is a game from 2006 that I couldn't run on ultra high graphics because in 2006 your PC would suck or your laptop sucked.
Still can't do it in 2025.
Exactly. I still can't.
Yes.
I had to turn it down low because it rained.
To quote Todd Hard, upgrade your PC.
Just upgrade your PC, bro.
That still annoys me.
It's the same people who spam the lockpick just so they can get their lockpick to 99 in like 10 minutes.
Have they fixed the lockpicking?
No,
No.
everything's on the same engine.
God.
It's remastered on the same engine, but using Unreal graphics. It's incredible.
My God, what an absolute mess of a franchise, the Elder Scrolls. I don't care what anyone says, they are atrocious.
Well, with that spirit in mind,
Yeah, let's talk about what the topic of the week is going to be. Okay, here's what we're doing. We have taken a selection. It's not all of them, but a selection of games that people may or may not associate with PlayStation. And what there's 32 of them, gentlemen. Am I right saying that? 32?
Yes.
32 franchises. And what we're going to do is Cardinal has coded a random number generator for each of these games. It's going to pick 2 at a time. We are going to pit them against one another in a World Cup style tournament until we eventually have the greatest franchise in PlayStation history. Asterisks. According to High Scores, High Stakes.
I mean, we are the only gaming podcast on the internet, so it would stand to reason that opinion is gospel. Surely.
I mean, yeah. I like to think everything I say is gospel, and if it's not, I'll just ring the new pope and say, "Here, mate, come on, write the book of Luvva, please."
yeah. And look, if this baits you into reaction, please be baited.
Oh, it's all engagement, good engagement. No, bad engagement is good engagement. All engagement is good engagement.
Yeah, I've no doubt in my mind we're going to pick the wrong game at some point, and someone's going to get really angry in the comments. We encourage that. Actually, leave all the comments you want.
Embrace the chaos.
And speaking of chaos, shall we unleash it by getting into the topic of the week, gentlemen?
I can't wait. I'm so scared.
The PlayStation franchise Showdown. Let's go. And here we are. We are ready to step into the gladiatorial gates. We are going to pit these franchises completely at random against one another. The way this is going to work is really, really simple. The tournament has 2 sides to it. On each side, in round 1, is 16 games. And on the other side is the other 16. And then we move on to the round of 16, the round of 8, the round of 4, the round of 2, and then we have our eventual champion. The game that we are categorically saying is the single greatest franchise in PlayStation history. It's going to be brutal. There's going to be massive franchises taking a hit here. And because this is completely random, we could theoretically get first round, first game, Uncharted versus God of War.
Don't even say it out loud.
Let's
jinx that.
Right, Cardinal, you have our High Scores, High Stakes supercomputer. It is ready and primed to pick the first 2 games. I am going to pass the mic to you and say, let us get game number 1.
It's with this finger. I press enter. We get our first matchup.
He also disconnects from the chat, we see.
The choice was too much. The first roundup is Yakuza versus Tomb Raider.
Oh, wow.
I don't feel so bad about this one now.
Still.
That's a pretty good matchup, in fairness.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first? Who wants to make representations for one of these 2 franchises to go through? And keep in mind, the Yakuza fan base are absolute rabid about this game.
I have no experience on the Yakuza games apart from a reel that I saw on Instagram once. And the caption was like, "This is why I don't skip cutscenes." And all I saw was a picture of a man holding a gun to another man. He skips the cutscene, and next thing you know, they're playing bowling or they've gone swimming together.
Yeah.
So I imagine there's a weird and wonderful kind of nonsensicalness to the Yakuza series. But I'm going to go for a vote for Tomb Raider.
Okay. Well, let me bring balance to the force here. Okay. I do have some experience with the Yakuza series. It is the spiritual successor to Shenmue in a lot of ways. It is like a life sim. There's a lot of interactivity with characters and sort of everything in the game world. It is, strangely enough, the stories, the general story of every game is quite heavy in tone, but it always has these moments of pure insanity, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's classic Sega. I really like Yakuza series. I do. Have I played one in the last 10 years? No, because as the franchise got more and more mature, they got longer and longer and longer, and there's only so much time you can dedicate to games. And the Yakuza series for me just got too big, too much. And then they started diverging with Like a Dragon and like turn-based and stuff and all that good stuff. It is a really good series. The ones I've played are excellent games. They are really good fun. The combat's really good. The open worlds are really dense, and there's a lot of Shenmue's DNA in it. You know, the NPCs have routines and all that there sort of business. It is a really accomplished game series. Would I pick it over Tomb Raider? I mean, Yakuza doesn't have like a awful installment like Tomb Raider does. Tomb Raider has some really high highs. It's also got extremely low lows.
Bad.
Angel of Darkness. Hello, I'm looking at you. You're dreadful. You're one of the worst games ever released. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn between these two. Cardinal, break a deadlock, or what do you think?
Look, we're biased. We've done a game of the month on Tomb Raider, haven't we?
This is true, yeah.
We kind of have discussed in other episodes that in terms of iconic characters, Lara Croft comes up there.
Oh yeah, that whole Lost episode that definitely got stolen and wasn't a tech issue.
Yes, I know. If it hadn't been for the People Against Podcasts faction, you would have heard that. Great discussion. But it comes down to experience, and while Yakuza looks fun and karaoke looks great and other wacky stuff, it's Tomb Raider.
Yeah, all right. I'm not going to tell you what I would have picked if it was a deadlock there, but just for the the rabid Yakuza fans out there, I would have picked Yakuza.
Okay. No.
Nice hindsight.
Right. So that means that Yakuza is now gone. It is out. Tomb Raider progresses into the round of 16. Let's get game number 2. Let's go.
Here we go. I'm still scared. Okay. Twisted Metal versus Infamous.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, that's tasty. Two very different games. I'm gonna make mine very, very, very short and sweet. I never liked Cole McGrath. Never liked him. I'm not gonna lie. When Infamous 1 and 2 came out, there was Prototype 1 and 2. Do you remember those games?
Yeah.
I thought Prototype were better. So, and I really PlayStation 1 era, I loved Twisted Metal. Twisted Metal Black is amazing. I'm going Twisted Metal in this one.
Let me tell you, Infamous was one of those games that was given away by Sony for free when the PS3 had its leak or whatever happened.
It did.
Along with Super Ted's Knitted Man Boy.
that
classic.
That absolutely.
Yeah. And to be honest, I chose Infamous and I played it and it was good and it was fun. I guess I didn't have like a heartfelt attachment to any of the characters of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I never picked up any of the others.
Okay.
Twisted Metal, a bit more of a classic. What do you think, Tom?
I kind of are in the same boat as Luvva here. When Infamous was about, I was in the Prototype camp quite firmly. I can't say I played Prototype as in-depthly at all, but Infamous just never grabbed it for me. I think there was other games that in that same era were better. And Twisted Metal, I'm late to the Twisted Metal party, but I think I can play it now and appreciate what it was like to play it back then.
Mm-hmm.
I still have Twisted Metal, I think a World Tour on the PlayStation 5. I'll still play it sporadically all the same, but
yeah, it's really good fun. Twisted Metal World Tour is great.
I get more enjoyment from playing Twisted Metal, and I see Infamous on the PlayStation Plus catalog all the time, and it doesn't grab me. I don't feel drawn to it in any way, shape, or form, to be honest.
I never replay it. I did complete it, but I wouldn't replay it.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think, let's be frank and honest here. Infamous is technically a better game than Twisted Metal ever was. Twisted Metal was really fun. It is a really fun game. It's a lot of fun with 2 players. It's brutally difficult. Infamous is just forgettable, especially the first 2 or 3. I liked Second Son on the PlayStation 4. I think it was the first game I played on my PlayStation 4. I really liked it. And I think Second Son's DLC, First Light, is amazing. And I think Second Son also needs to get bonus points for the bad guys being called the DUP. So above all that, I'm going Twisted Metal. It has to be Twisted Metal.
Go for
me.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
That is Infamous gone. So it is. See you later, kid.
Ciao.
So that means in the round of 16, it is Tomb Raider versus Twisted Metal. What a showdown that's going to be. But let's not worry about the round of 16. We're still in the round of 32. Let's go for the next one. I don't know what game is this matchup 3?
It is. And I'm so worried. The games that are left are huge.
Yeah.
And anyway, here we go. That window. Okay. I don't want to say it out loud.
Say it.
We do. We're an audio format. We have to say it.
We kind of need to let the people know what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I just don't want to physically tell anybody. It's Street Fighter versus Gran Turismo.
Oh, here we go. Cardinal, I'll give you the floor because I know what you're going to pick.
Look, Street Fighter, classic, lovely, lots of games. I fond memories, arcade, real good, all-time greatest fighters. One of them, truly iconic characters. I think when we did discuss the iconic characters, 2 of them came from Street Fighter.
Yeah.
In a short list. But Gran Turismo, my baby. Oh my days, it makes me giddy. I've been Gran Turismo since day one on the PS1. Mm-hmm. I don't know, I've spent a lot of money just on Gran Turismo 7. Getting steering wheel and stuff. What do you guys think?
So purely for cost in Cardinals in the Gran Turismo camp, I think.
Polyphony in their detail, and it's just fun. And the music of Gran Turismo 3. And look, I mean, I'm sitting in front of me, like, with various versions, just
has them to hand.
Just sitting here, you know.
What can we do?
So he's a fan, anyway.
He is. Cardinal's a fan.
He's never mentioned it before on the podcast. I wonder why.
This one's pretty brutal, to be fair.
It is hard. That's a hard one now, to be fair. But I'm going to let Luvva take the floor on his one then.
Right, you know what I'm going to say here? All right, I really love Gran Turismo. I am also a Gran Turismo 1 OG. I think I've played every single one of them. But I'm still saying Street Fighter. Now, my reasons for Street Fighter might seem weird, but Gran Turismo, as great as it was, didn't really change anything in the games industry. Street Fighter 2 did. Street Fighter 2 is one of the most influential games ever released. Not only did it create single-handedly the fighting game genre, as we know it today, Street Fighter 2, so it did it. Everyone wanted to catch the fire. Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 2 as a game that never released on PlayStation, and I realized that. Street Fighter 2 wasn't so much a game as it was a revolution in gaming and a real movement. I've never known hype like Street Fighter. And even when it was in its down period just after Street Fighter 3, when Street Fighter 4 got announced, the hype for that game was incredible.
Yeah.
I think as a gaming franchise, way more iconic than Gran Turismo. The quality of the games it's not always great with Street Fighter. There has been some absolutely horrendous Street Fighter games, but the good ones are great ones. And the great ones still get played in a competitive environment in 2025. Street Fighter 2 Turbo still gets played at EVO. Street Fighter 4 still gets played at a lot of fighting game competitions. Street Fighter 5 doesn't. Street Fighter 6 is amazing. Street Fighter 6 is probably, for me, is probably the greatest fighting game ever made. I'm going Street Fighter just because of its impact on the games industry as a whole. I think it's just far more important to franchise than Gran Turismo.
This is really annoying because I think when we had baited this list, I was hoping to put the fighters against each other and then the racers against each other, and then you kind of whittle it down that way. Now that we've got the most iconic like fighting game series, let's face it, it is, and the most iconic drive-in simulator / racer. Now it comes down to which one I enjoy playing more, because I really enjoyed playing GT7 for our podcast challenge last season.
Mm-hmm.
I chronically disliked doing our Street Fighter challenge.
It's just because you got whipped by me.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely 100% because I got whipped. And this definitely doesn't fuel that decision at all. But I think for like both have massive longevity in their franchise, but I think I can go to an arcade and will likely still see Street Fighter over like, that in that kind of vein of thinking. Street Fighter's everywhere. Everyone knows what Street Fighter is. Everyone doesn't have that association with Gran Turismo as such.
No, but we are a PlayStation podcast.
We are a PlayStation podcast. I know. This is what makes the decision ever so slightly harder because I adore Street Fighter 2. But I think
can't get this to Gran Turismo.
No, I have to keep it to Street Fighter. I think just
look at that late influence.
It has stuck with me. It has stuck with me longer than Gran Turismo. I played Gran Turismo 3A spec and then went to Gran Turismo 7 forever, a gap. Whereas I've always kept in touch with Street Fighter.
Sure, have you though? I mean, yeah,
ish.
I would say Gran Turismo 7 is one of the things that sells the PlayStation 5. Never mind the PSVR 2.
I would say Gran Turismo 7 is the best Gran Turismo by a mile, but I don't know. I think if you took any random person on the street, showed him a picture of Ryu, would know that's Street Fighter. And if you showed him a picture of, I don't know, a Mazda MX-5, they're not going to say Gran Turismo.
If you show them a picture of Orlando Bloom, they might think Gran Turismo.
I don't know.
In a slightly more niche reference, but in that respect, I'm going to go for Street Fighter.
It's 2-1 Cardinal. See you later.
There it is.
All right.
That's it, lads. Right. That's as cruel as it is. Street Fighter makes it in the round of 16, and here we go.
Here we go again. Pick. Let's go.
I mean, let's go. Let's
There's
keep
no point wasting time here.
There's no point wasting time. And let me tell you what we're going to be doing this time. Because this time it's Kingdom Hearts versus Silent Hill.
Oh my goodness.
What a combination.
This one's an easy one.
Kingdom Hearts v Silent Hill. Okay, Kingdom Hearts. The fans of Kingdom Hearts are so passionate about Kingdom Hearts. Whereas Silent Hill has people frothing at the mouths at the mere hint of a demo possibly existing.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. Kingdom Hearts. I've only ever played Kingdom Hearts 1. That is and a few of the spin-offs that I've started and never finished because they're awful. But
out of memory, sorry.
I've played Kingdom Hearts 1. Good, really good game. To be fair, it is a really good game. Silent Hill, though. Silent Hill. One of the most iconic PlayStation 1 titles. One of the most iconic PlayStation 2 titles. And to be fair to you, it's one of the more... Silent Hill is one of the more iconic franchises on PlayStation 5 and 4. I mean, PT, a demo...
Yeah.
Was like, it changed YouTube, let's be honest here. Like it created, like it didn't create the Let's Play scene. That was probably Amnesia, but with PT, that scene exploded. Like it's Silent Hill.
I think it is. I mean, for me, if you're at university and there's a girl says she likes Kingdom Hearts and you want to impress her, I'm picking Kingdom Hearts over Silent Hill. Those days are gone. Which goes through between those two for me? It's Silent Hill.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think we're gonna whitewash this one. It's Silent Hill all day long. Kingdom Hearts is fun, and Kingdom Hearts has its place.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just the cruelness of the draw puts it up against. If it was up against something else entirely, Kingdom Hearts probably been a shout. But I think Silent Hill's just on this like new boom.
Yeah,
I just noticed the next round is Street Fighter versus Silent Hill. Anyway, let's move on.
What a doozy!
My days.
Here we go. Round 5. Oh, it's the Elder Scrolls series versus Siphon Filter.
Nice.
Okay.
Shine.
All right.
Okay.
We know where this is going.
We do. This is going to be Luvva versus Cardinal with Tomahawk providing the
just
tie
breaking the tie break.
Right. I am going to go Siphon Filter. And let me tell you why.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Shock.
I am.
Absolutely no one is shocked.
Siphon Filter is one of the more iconic games on PlayStation 1. It is a high quality trilogy of games on the PlayStation 1. Haven't aged well. The controls, especially for the first one, horrendous. By modern day standards. At the time, though, incredible. What a game. Gabe Logan. What a dude. It's a really strong franchise, to be fair to it. Siphon Filter 1, maybe it's no Metal Gear Solid, but it's still a solid 8, 9 out of 10. Siphon Filter 2 was better. Siphon Filter 3 was better again. But I think the gem of that franchise is, I think it was called Dark Mirror on the PSP. Absolutely. Or Gabe's Shadow, something like that. But it was incredible. The PSP installment is incredible. Siphon Filter for me all day long. The Elder Scrolls on PlayStation have been mishandled, shall we say?
No, let's not start slanting. You're going to get yourself sued by a young man who runs Bethesda. Just to upgrade your point of view. That's what I have to say. The Elder Scrolls has had its rocky road bumps on the PS2, PS3, PS4, PS5, but that's part of the charm.
It's not.
Like you see when you play your PS3 and you play the original version on a CD of Skyrim.
You can't,
right? And it you can't, because it
can't
crashes as soon as you gain access to move.
Yeah.
It crashes, right? And then later, after a couple of patches, even now today, you can't play it because as soon as you go underwater, it crashes. Various things, it crashes on a console. However, it is immense. Oblivion changed RPG or open world RPGs on consoles, and I remember seeing it for the first time on an Xbox, if I'm allowed to mention that. Here, but yeah, and it was just mind blowing, right? And you would stay up. I was staying up like nights with friends, just like adventuring through this open world with this music and finding new stuff. Skeletons walking around or shooting bows and arrows. Magic? What? You could aim with magic? Just freeform aim? It was outstanding. And I remember games coming out thereafter in the years where you couldn't just aim the bow and arrow wherever you wanted. Things like that. Like just why can't I do that? Oblivion had that. I think Elder Scrolls wins this all day long. I agree that Siphon Filter is class. And on PS1, it was one of the peaks of... It wasn't a Metal Gear, but it was something... It was a different alternative.
Yeah.
It was still fun. You're
like
tasering somebody was incredible.
Like James Bond. It's James Bond. It was James Bond for PlayStation. So it was... My thing about this, right, is... Like you said there, the taser in Siphon Filter felt great. It felt great to use. The guy screaming until they eventually caught in flames and then dying. That felt great. As sick as it sounds, it felt great. The one thing I can not say about any Elder Scroll game is the combat feels great. It feels awful. It's weightless. It is impactless. You're swinging through the air, feels no different than swinging through a full plate meal set. It's weightless. It's unsatisfying. It's not very good. As you said, Oblivion, a mess. Every Elder Scrolls game gets released, it's a mess. Apart from the Oblivion remaster, which seems to be doing fairly, people like it. But Skyrim on the PlayStation 3 was an unmitigated disaster, and it was never fixed until they re-released it on PlayStation 4. And then they re-released it 3 times between the PlayStation 4 and today. I just don't like the Elder Scrolls. I just don't think they're particularly well made. I hate this. It's good because of the bugs. No. I'm sorry.
It's good because of the world.
That goes to fundamental my entire argument there.
I have a map of Cyrodiil and the entire Skyrim world, all that up at the wall upstairs. It should be soon. And it is massive. And it's just brilliant. And there's so much life to it. And there's games to be made out of all the different areas they haven't touched. It's like a Tolkien book waiting to be written. And I've been to Valhalla. You know, Siphon Filter hasn't taken me there.
No, but Siphon Filter has some of the greatest voice acting on the man.
Stop there, criminal scum. I used to be an adventurer like you until, yeah.
Right, Tom, break us deadlock.
Talk to us.
I mean, I've never played Siphon Filter.
Yeah, essentially, I've never played a Siphon Filter. And Cardinal's argument of I used to be an adventurer like you, but then I took an hour in the knee is a far more compelling argument for a game I've never played before, sadly. So
unbelievable. Right, let's go next round. Who cares?
Elder Scrolls is through. Let's move on.
I mean, Elder Scrolls is absolutely
through.
I mean, there was an awful lot to be said about embrace the jank, but
I don't want to embrace the jank. I would prefer the work. The games just work.
Oh, I would much prefer if the games worked, but
yes. I just want to play Starfield. Anyway.
Skyrim does this incredible thing where it's gone through like all the re-releases, all the remasters, all the consoles. It's still there. Like that's fair. Like nobody's rebooting Siphon Filter. Let's put it that way.
Like in 2011, I spent lunch after lunch walking into town with a mate, discussing what we did in Skyrim the night before. And he said one night he killed a dragon and my mind was blown. It was just anyway, let's move on. Finger. Okay. It's Jak and Daxter versus Tekken.
Ooh.
Okay.
This one's intriguing. I like this one.
I don't know what direction to take with this.
These are 2 massive PlayStation franchises. Tomahawk, go on ahead.
Only for the fact that I know we're going to have a few other platformers similar to Jak and Daxter coming up. I'm going to take Tekken because Tekken, I think throughout the entire PlayStation franchises, every PlayStation console, I've always played a version of Tekken. And I've always had a blinding time playing them. Jak and Daxter has this awkward forgettability about it. They're great games in their own right.
Yep.
But when you compare them to the likes of Ratchet and Clank and anything else in that similar genre, they come out on top from Jak and Daxter. I think when you pit them together, Tekken for me has to come on top.
Okay. I was not expecting that. I thought you were going to go Jak and Daxter. So I did.
I'm future planning here.
Yeah, okay. Cardinal, what's your thoughts on this matter?
Jak and Daxter. I will be honest. I don't know anything about it. When I've seen the Jak and Daxter bots on Astrobot, play it now on sale, only £600. Please put it on sale, Sony. Look, Tekken is huge. Yeah. Tekken is, I'll say it, my favorite fighting franchise game. Outside of ones that include volleyball, but just for the bowling alone,
Okay,
Yeah, the bowling takes it. Yeah.
It's that iconic level, and the art. I spent too many hours bowling as a guy with a tiger head or a bear. It just, what else does that?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I'm also going Tekken, but I feel like Jack and Daxter needs some love here because Jack and Daxter
Yeah.
Precursor Legacy is a great game. Of all the 3D platformers on the PlayStation 2, it's probably the strongest of them. It's just a pure Naughty Dog game. It's like playing a cartoon. It's like playing a Disney cartoon. I don't think Jack and Daxter 2 or Jack 3 were anywhere near as good as the first one, to be fair. I think it peaked with Jack and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy.
And with that, the finger of truth picks another two. Gentlemen, it's Horizon of the Horizon Zero Dawn, Horizon
Yes.
Forbidden West versus Batman, the Arkham series.
Oh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now, this I think is the first ones that have actually pitted similar like types of games anyway, you know, skill trees and that kind of stuff, a big open world formats.
Yeah.
I've been playing Arkham Knight a little bit in my downtime quite recently, and I forget how gorgeous that game was.
It was.
Back when it was released, and it still is a gorgeous game. What lets it Arkham Knight down particularly is the massive reliance on the Batmobile. It's the core mechanic of the game, and it just is garbage.
Yep.
Whereas, like, traveling in the Horizon games, you don't get the big map traversal until like the end game of Forbidden West in particular, and then even in Zero Dawn, you're kind of still reliant on like low level mounts, really. And so like Horizons launched PlayStation in terms of their like franchise like mascots and stuff to this like upper echelon with a brand new like IP, brand new character. And I don't think they've really I think Luvva, you said it recently that you'd probably associate Batman more as an Xbox game.
Yeah. I mean, I played
that way. Yeah,
I played Asylum and City on the Xbox 360, and then played the third one, Arkham Knight. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I played that on PlayStation 4, but it was a buggy mess when it came out. Not many people remember that. When it released, it was a mess of bugs. There was like mission markers that didn't appear and needed patched. And to be fair to Rocksteady, they patched it quick. I think it was about 2 or 3 days, and then they had patched the bugs out. I think Batman's a really, really, really good franchise. But like Jack and Daxter, my personal opinion is Arkham Asylum is the best one, and I think they got progressively worse. I know that's not a popular opinion. I know a lot of people say No City is way better.
Yeah.
I just thought Arkham Asylum is just this perfectly paced Metroidvania with Batman.
Yeah.
It was so dense and what it was trying to do. That the asylum itself has so many like little Easter eggs, there's so many secrets. There's a lot of player agency in Asylum that I think City loses and it certainly loses the density of detail. And I think Night loses density of detail like at just a smaller level than City because the scope widens so much. I played through all of them. I had a great time with all of them. I just personally feel like Asylum is the best one because I think it's the best designed of all of them. It felt the most Batman of all three.
Yeah. The question is, are we including Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League in this franchise?
No, because they're not part of the Batman franchise.
They fully are, apparently.
No.
Suicide Squad is in some sort of alternate universe, but it's still within the universe as such. But
alternate universe.
We're going to go alternate universe, so it's out then. Okay, so that impacts my choice ever so slightly then. I have my issues with Forbidden West, but I think that they are both have their ups, both have their downs. I'm going to have to stick my guns at this one because I still think that Batman is overall a fine-tuned trilogy. Horizon, when we do get a part 3, I feel as if the way they finished on Forbidden West, they've left themselves with this, how do you top it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you border on the ridiculous is how they do top it. So I think for me, I'm going to have to go the Batman trilogy, the Arkham trilogy.
Go for it, Luvva.
I'm trying to think. Horizon Zero Dawn was, in my opinion, a generational game. It's one of those games that comes around not very often.
Yeah.
I think the story of Horizon, especially Zero Dawn, is incredible. I think the storyline is incredible. The world building in that game is every bit as good as Arkham Asylum was, but on a much, much, much bigger scale. I think the combat and the player agency in Horizon Zero Dawn is right up there with the best in gaming. It just, there's no set way of doing anything in Horizon Zero Dawn. You can do everything any way you want. If you want to chase bosses, chase them. If you want to take on big giant T-Rexes with nothing but a bow and arrow, you can do it. I like all the sort of skills you acquire as Aloy. I like all the different types of arrows you get. I just like Horizon Zero Dawn. I think the world building in it is just utterly, utterly incredible. And sometimes it's to the detriment of Horizon. You know, you get the lost world artifacts and they're like cups and saucers. It's not very exciting for the player. But
for the lore side of thing,
yeah. I know Horizon doesn't get an awful lot of love, especially online. If you don't play Horizon, you don't get Horizon, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people hate it just because it's Horizon and they've never played it. I think Horizon Zero Dawn's a generational game. I really, really do. I think it's higher quality than any of the Batman games, but I am happy enough for it to go to Batman, to be honest.
Okay, it's an easy mistake to make. The winner is Horizon. And let me tell you, you're right. Horizon is generational. If you look at even today, right, Astrobot has 5 feature levels, super big ending feature levels that take certain franchises of PlayStation history. One of those 5 is Horizon, or is the old word Aloy, and it's amazing. You got to play it, and the music. Batman. I think we discussed in playing this. I was sort of associated with Xbox or PC. But it's very good. I have played the first one, and it was good. And you kick ass. You kick a lot of ass. But I just love Horizon, and I don't like those detractors online Horizon. I think it went through a really strange stage on the internet with people trying to beautify Aloy in their being, which was weird and not great for us, as not a great look for men. But yeah, no, I started playing it because I played it in Astrobot. I thought that's incredible. I need to play this game, and it is great. I've only been seeing it on what I played in Horizon Zero Dawn. I haven't played Forbidden West, so I don't know about the franchise, but I would go Horizon.
Oh. I think
so. Is that 2-1, or is that?
I'm torn on this one. I am torn on this one.
And I get it though. Like, I mean, I have this like love for Zero Dawn, but I think what they kind of did narratively and like character for Forbidden West just kind of subtracts that. Whereas Batman's Batman. Batman has this like, I think this gravitas and a bit of legacy to him already going into this trilogy game, though.
Yeah,
I think that might be swaying my decision.
That's what I was going to say. Does the fact that it's Batman sway everybody? Are the Arkham games as good as we say it is, or is it just we think it's as good because we like Batman?
Batman's obvious. Batman's incredible.
I mean, I've played all the Arkham games. I've only played Horizon Zero Dawn and the DLC of Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the best part of that game, in my opinion. It's incredible. But I'm happy for Batman to take it. If it breaks the deadlock, Batman.
Okay. There we go.
Horizon out in the first round. Very surprising.
Oof. This is to finish up the left-hand side of the table. We are only that far in.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah. This might be a two-parter.
I think it might be. And speaking of two-parter, this was going to hit. It's Spyro from Spyro the Dragon series versus Metal Gear Solid. Hello.
Hello there. Welcome to the arena. This one doesn't need much discussion, does it?
Look, I'll start. Okay, Spyro, 3 great games. The trilogy thing that was released, remastered, but not remastered, but repackaged, was great, and I really liked Spyro, the Dragon game. Okay,
I
it's
like
a little
Spyro.
platformer. Partly of that was a 10-minute demo you got from a demo disc back in the day.
Yep.
It's like, how many of these things can I get? Playing it back, it's so goofy. Like the acting and the narrative and everything's just goofy. Not always in a great way, but it is fun. It's a challenging game. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm Team Metal Gear Solid massively.
That's what I was going to say.
Just fleshing out a section here. That's all we're doing.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, why is Cardinal fighting for Spyro? He's going to say Metal Gear. Like, my experience with Spyro the Dragon is the same as you. I think the PlayStation trilogy is really, really good. When it was made by Traveler's Tales, what a game series. I played the original trilogy. Weirdly enough, my older brother worked for Game, and sometimes they would send staff to like trade shows. And he came back from 1 year with Spyro 1, came back and MotoGP. And then the next year he came back with Spyro 2 and another random. And then the third time he went around, he came back with Spyro 3. Spyro 3, I think, is the best one. But this is Metal Gear Solid all day long.
Yeah.
As good as Spyro's is. This is an unfair sort of bracket for Spyro. He doesn't stand a chance here.
It's an unlucky draw, to be honest. Yeah, Metal Gear takes it all day long. I think in practicality, if you put a dragon against a spy, a dragon wins all day long. But in terms of
that's a good point.
Gaming franchises, I mean, it's a good thing they're not actually fighting each other, I suppose.
No, but hang on. If you're talking Solid Snake, who can take out a tank with nothing but grenades, or any snake, Big Boss or Snake who can take out large bipedal walking nuclear armed tanks.
He stands a chance. That's pretty level playing field, actually. Yeah, I mean, we're arguing semantics here because it's a whitewash for Metal Gear Solid, surely. Yeah.
Oh, the easiest one, yeah.
For Spyro.
He never stood a chance.
My favorite part about Spyro 1 on the PlayStation 1 is when you rescue all the dragons, it's the same voice actor that voices every single one of them. Incredible scenes.
Should we get the right hand side of the board?
Let's get the right hand side done.
Okay, because you're like this one. It's Ratchet and Clank versus Resident Evil.
Oh dear.
I'm so sorry.
Dear.
Can I start?
Yeah.
I'm going to say, no, I'm not going to say Ratchet and Clank. It's going to be Resident Evil all day long. I adore the Resident Evil franchise. I just think as this revival that Ratchet and Clank has got, Resident Evil has just gone, I say strength to strength. It has had a bit of a wobble in the middle there, but it's constantly there. We get the movies, we get the spin-offs of the movies, get the games. The game series gets all their spin-offs as well. They even got like everything ties into Resident Evil. Like they've done so much work and so much lore. Ratchet and Clank just doesn't have that exposure, I think.
No, it doesn't.
No.
And we're getting a whole new, I think, looking on like the Hollywood side of things, we're getting like game tie-ins to the like more movies and stuff, more game accurate movies going forward as well. So I think I'd be quite interested to see where that goes. But like Resident Evil is Resident Evil at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I want to say, watching Luvva Luvva has been streaming on the High Scores High Stakes Twitch site, which you can catch also. Check it out. But the Ratchet and Clank with Rift Apart, that was a great game.
It was
incredible game, incredible, and what it was doing, like pushing like the capability of the PS5 was unbelievable. I don't want to say glorified tech demo, but I feel as if like Rift Apart was just purpose built for the PS5.
It was way more than a tech demo, though.
I know
it was a great experience.
It's very crude to lump it in like that, but it was purpose built to show off. Here's the capability of the PS5, and of course, then the upres with the PS5 Pro as well.
I mean, can I just hand over to just to hatch it in here? Luvva, can you tell me why you would possibly choose Resident Evil?
Okay, let me tell you this. All right, Resident Evil is probably my it's up there as one of my favorite franchises of all time. I think not many franchises have longevity of Resident Evil, but lesser franchises have reinvented themselves as often and as successfully as Resident Evil. Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, survival horrors 3 and 3, 4, 5, 6, action horror games, and then 7, 8, and presumably 9 are going to be first-person survival horror games again. I love Resident Evil. I love everything about Resident Evil. I love the cheesiness. I love the horror of it. I think it's a really effective horror series.
Yeah.
I think it's lost a little bit of that in some moments in time. Resident Evil 8 isn't a particularly scary game, apart from that one bit, the Benviento house, which is horrifying. And 4, 5, and 6 are just not scary at all. But 4 and 5 are really great games. I think 7 and 8 are really great games. And I think 1, 2, and 3 are really great games. Even if you're talking spin-offs, I know Resident Evil has like Gun Survivors, which are awful. But that era also had Code Veronica, which I personally think is a really good game. Resident Evil 0, I think, is a really good game. Even the Outbreak, the online PlayStation 2 games, underrated games. I think I love Ratchet and Clank. The PlayStation 2 trilogy is great. Secret Agent Clank on the PSP, great. But the PlayStation 3 era of Ratchet and Clank is really hit and miss. Like the quality dropped significantly, and there is a reason why Sucker Punch are no longer making this franchise of games. As good as Rift Apart was a great game, by the way. It's one of the most fun games I've played on PlayStation 5. It's probably the most fun I've had playing a game on PlayStation 5. It's a great game, but it's Resident Evil for me. Resident Evil is the franchise.
Look, I think we're going to be picking Resident Evil here. I will say it's a game I won't play because it spooks me, but I've seen all the Resident Evil movies in the cinema.
Wow.
Work that one out.
Incredible scenes there.
Resident Evil, the first one, the movie, still has the badge of honor. It is the only movie I have walked out of the cinema without seeing the end.
What?
It was dreadful. It was that bad. After she kicked a dog in the head in the kitchen, I left. I was like, see, this is not the Resident Evil I love. What have you done, Paul W.S. Anderson, or whoever bloody directed it? I don't know.
Beautiful scenes.
She can kick me in the head. So Resident Evil knocks out Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Fair
Next
enough.
up. It's Wipeout versus Killzone.
Oh, okay.
How do we do this?
Easily by saying Wipeout.
Yeah, he's got a point there. I mean, Killzone was absolutely fine. Wipeout is Wipeout's just a great game. Wipeout is a great series. Yeah, Wipeout all day long.
I forgot we did Wipeout as
did Wipeout as a challenge as well.
Yeah. Sherry picked the right track, but drove around the wrong direction.
The wrong orientation.
Let's give Killzone its dues here, okay?
Yeah.
Killzone 1's fine. Killzone 2 is really good. I think I'm going to say it. Killzone 2 is really good. Killzone 3, not so much. But I think what killed Killzone, ironically, there it is. There's the Tomahawk.
He dropped his phone today.
I think the thing that killed Killzone as a franchise for Sony was the advertising for it. This is a Halo killer. This is a Halo killer. This is a Halo killer. It was nothing like Halo. It was never intended to be like Halo, but that's how they decided to try and sell it. It fell well short of Halo. The PlayStation 4 game, gorgeous to look at. Ain't much substance in it. Shadowfall, is that what it's called? I don't know. But yeah, no, it's Wipeout. Wipeout's a great franchise. Make more of them.
That's the one thing I have about Wipeout is that there's the PlayStation 4 new game packaged together with the old games in there. And it was great, and I played so much. And you also had the VR.
The VR mode was incredible.
VR does look incredible, to be honest, yeah.
The VR mode was incredible. Like the only thing put me off this is the same as you, Cardinal. Is it's no longer a
where is it?
franchise. It doesn't exist, but it lasted a lot longer than Killzone. Killzone lasted the PlayStation 3 generation, and then it was a launch title for PlayStation 4, and it hasn't made a return. In fact, I think Sony said it's not making a return. They have no plans to revisit the franchise. They've never said that about Wipeout. What killed Wipeout was the X-Signosis. It's just Studio Liverpool getting shut down. That's what killed it. But it's Wipeout. What a franchise.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Resident Evil versus Wipeout in that round next.
Ooh.
Next up, it's look at this one. It's Ghost of Tsushima versus The Last of Us.
Oh my. Okay. Right.
Let's chat.
Yeah, it's The Last of Us.
Like,
it's The Last of Us.
It has to absolutely be The Last of Us. I think we would be like cancelled and removed from the internet if we said The Last of Us gets beaten by Ghost of Tsushima. Like, if Ghost of Tsushima was facing anything else in this bracket,
It wins.
It wins. It can't compete against The Last of Us, I think, for just what Sony have done for The Last of Us. They've just pushed it to the moon and then some.
But if we're only considering the games, if we're only considering the games, this is a Sony franchise competition. The Last of Us has 2 games, and Ghost of Tsushima, as the time of recording, only has one.
The one game, yeah.
As good as it was, and the DLC for it, the Icky Island, it's great. It is great. It's a great
judging
great
this
game.
Purely on games alone,
it still
has to be The Last of Us.
The Last of Us Part 2 is a better game than Ghost of Tsushima. And I'm not even going to, and I don't think Part 2 is as good as Part 1. So it's The Last of Us.
One day I'm going to find out what happens in The Last of Us. I tell you. Okay, and what's going to face The Last of Us in the next round?
Let's find out.
Oh no.
I know.
It's Final Fantasy versus Resistance in this matchup.
Oh,
Okay.
That doesn't seem too bad then.
No, that's fine.
No, but I worry what comes next round. In terms of Final Fantasy versus Resistance, let me start by saying Resistance. What was that? PS3?
Yeah.
All of Man. Okay,
Yes.
First game I had with the PS3, and I played it till like 3 or 4 in the morning. The first night I got the PS3, like completed it, but it had a great time. It felt class.
Resistance is a good game. Let's be honest, but that's all you can say about Resistance. It was a good series of games that got worse as they went on again.
Yeah.
Was this another franchise that was like grossly misrepresented as like, this is going to compete against Gears of War, and then it just kind of, is this just like some random fandom's head that they thought, oh yeah, they're just making Gears of War but set in London?
It was Killzone was literally, this is the Halo killer. That's what official PlayStation 2 magazine called it. This is the Halo killer.
Dear.
No one ever made reference to Gears of War with Resistance. They're completely different games. What I will say is the story in Resistance Fall of Man's a really good one. It is a really good one. I like the setting. I like the Chimera as enemies. I think it's really interesting. Resistance 3 is a really interesting game as well, because that, am I wrong? Isn't that the one where the main character has some DNA of the Chimera in him and can do some of their abilities, isn't it? But most of the game takes place in tunnels, if my memory serves me right.
Vaguely something, I'm getting this like fever dream of this plot point, yes.
Yeah.
And I also now could be thinking of Gears of War 5. I don't actually remember anymore.
The fact I'm struggling to think of huge plot points in these games when I can tell you the full story of Final Fantasy 7. I can tell you the full story of Final Fantasy 8. I can tell you the full story of Final Fantasy 10. And they are way older games. It's Final Fantasy all day.
Yeah.
Love that you missed 9. I'm the same.
I can't remember now. I remember really liking it, but I can't remember the story.
People love it. It's their favorite.
It's a really good
Anyway,
game.
it is really good, and I'll play it one day. It's fantastic music. 9 has great music.
9, in my mind, also had outstandingly good pre-rendered backgrounds, like amongst the best on PlayStation. Like I remember in my memory, Final Fantasy 9 looked amazing. It's probably just rose-tinted glasses.
It was a step up, and it was a simpler mechanic of leveling up and fighting. Anyway,
It's Final Fantasy.
It's Final Fantasy.
I think 16 like mainstay titles beats Resistance.
I think there's iconic items there of Cloud's sword and characters as well. It's part of the iconic argument. Things you would recognize.
Materia, yeah.
You guys didn't spend enough hours playing 7. Eve, come to... sorry, right. 16. You gotta play 16 one day. It's a totally different game. Anyway, I'll keep mentioning that every episode. Next round. It's Devil May Cry versus God of War.
Oh, this is the most apt matchup we've had. God of War versus Devil May Cry.
Dante versus Kratos.
Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. And I'll start the ball rolling. This is going to be probably the one only time I'm not going to have Capcom's back that might risk my sponsorship deal with them. I'm going God of War.
They're listening.
They are listening. I will get angry emails. I'm going God of War in this one. I'll tell you why. God of War 1, 2, 3. Good games. Great games. 3 especially is incredible. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
The PSP spin-offs, Ghost of Sparta, and the other one, really, really, really good games. PlayStation 4, though, that 2018 God of War is
just changed.
It is everything, a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece. God of War 2018 is up there with the best games ever made. In my opinion, the story beats are great. The combat's amazing. It looks incredible. The voice acting is just next level. It is just next level stuff. It raised Sony's game totally, and I think it made game players expect more from their games. It's just that good. God of War 2018 is a masterpiece. Even if it was just that one game, I would still say that over Devil May Cry. Devil May Cry I really like Devil May Cry. I think it's a really good series of games. I think it's very lazy in installments. Devil May Cry 2, horrendous. It's a bad game. Devil May Cry 4 is a really good game, but you literally get to the halfway point of the game and then you have to
run all the way back.
And it's just lazy game design. And it sort of put Devil May Cry in a point of no return. And that's why they had to reboot Devil May Cry with DMC, which did horrendously.
The discourse.
I still stand by it's a good game. DMC is a good game. I don't care what anyone says. It's up there with the best Devil May Cry games in my opinion. And then Devil May Cry 5, I've not played. Presumably amazing, but God of War, is it God of War level good? Probably not. Not many games are.
I think when you take them into like their hack and slash
origins,
I probably would have gone. I would have gone Devil May Cry quite possibly, but I get where you're coming from. It's if 2018 and Ragnarok don't exist,
it's closer.
Then it's closer, but I think they've like Santa Monica just went and took this hack and slash model and then went, how do you elevate that?
By dropping this hack and slash elements.
Just got rid of the hack and slash,
If we were in 2010 and we all owned PS3s and we were doing this podcast, I'd be choosing Devil May Cry easily.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like they just of what the guys at Santa Monica did, they took something which could have just easily been a throwaway after Ascension, doing their spin-offs of that, and then went, right, we can put that to bed. We've done a hack and slash in Greek mythology, but they just went, boom, here's the most compelling narrative you could ever imagine with some brilliant world building.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. I get if you go back even like 2012, which was DMC was just around the corner and you had Ascension. DMC is a better game than Ascension, but if you're just taking the hack and slash, I think God of War 3 is better than any of the Devil May Cry's. God of War 3 is great. The scale of Devil May Cry or of God of War 3, it blew my mind when I saw that thing running for the first time. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I couldn't believe what I was playing.
Yeah. When you're watching
what
when
is
you're
going
watching
on?
Gaia like scale Olympus and everything takes place like
On
that in a moving,
and that is the game's opening. That is the opening scene of that game.
Yeah.
You're climbing up
like
this. It's
this
incredible.
matchup had me thinking, yeah, it's Devil May Cry. Like I have a slightly more love for that series, but I think just the strength alone on if you took every Devil May Cry 1 through 5 and put it up against God of War 2018.
Doesn't
God
come
of
near
War
it.
2018 is hand over fist. Just it's far superior. It has to be. Like
I agree.
Has to be God of War.
If I mention the 5 featured Astromot levels of the latest game, one of them is the God of War themed.
You've talked about this
So-
level.
So we got Horizon Zero Dawn and we got God of War. We'll touch on the others if we get to them. So it sounds like God of War is kicking Dante in his amazing jacket out of this competition.
It is. It is, which is a shame. I think Devil May Cry 3 is the peak of that franchise. And it's nowhere. It's not as good as God of War 3. So
Round 14 of 16. Matchup 14 of 16.
15 of 16.
Is the Bloodborne Demon Souls
yeah,
games
again.
versus Uncharted.
Oh.
Ooh, no.
Okay, I will start this one off. I'll start this off.
Oh, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see that coming.
Okay, I'll start it off. I'm going to preface what I'm about to say with last week, I think, maybe the week before, I said that Nathan Drake is probably PlayStation's most iconic character, and it's probably their best character they've ever made. And that's why it breaks my heart to say, before I was a podcaster, I was a blogger. And as part of that blog, I used to rank games. And I said that Bloodborne wasn't only the best game of 2015, but Bloodborne was the best game of the PlayStation 4, Xbox One generation. And I stand by that. Bloodborne is one of the best games I have ever played. I think it is the best game from software I have ever made. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. And I am going to say, based purely on Bloodborne, it's better than Uncharted.
Bold statement. Cardinal,
So let me refer to the Astrobot 5 feature levels. We've had Horizon Zero Dawn. We've had God of War. One of them is Uncharted. Nathan Drake is up there. And you should. Anyway, my only experience of playing Uncharted was in a game store in Stockholm when Uncharted 4 just launched, and they kitted out in like leaves and like a jungle inside the game store.
Okay, that's incredible.
That's incredible. With like stations to play it on, obviously inside. Seemed cool. I don't know. But you guys, I've watched you guys for about 10 years talk about Bloodborne and play Bloodborne. Never mind the others.
Yeah.
Does this include Elden Ring?
I mean, it's if you want.
It's just a question, does it?
I mean,
I think in terms of exclusivity, I think on a PlayStation centric podcast, I'd be more inclined to go just including Demon's Souls
and Bloodborne.
Demon's Souls and Bloodborne in this instance.
Sony owned IPs. So
yeah, that's where I would put that constraint on. I adore Uncharted 2. I'm not bothered on Uncharted 1. And Uncharted 3, I have this kind of hit and miss vibe to it. And then Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy are just there.
Yeah, they're
like Lost Legacy has this like unattainable standard of how a DLC should be done.
Mm-hmm.
And also keeping the tradition of what the original game sort of stood for.
Yep.
Bloodborne had its original release and it had one DLC,
Yep.
and that's it. It has had probably no support since then.
Yep.
And people still, it has this community, I think, of just who won't go near any other Souls-like because of it. They had to change the name Souls-likes to accommodate
How good
Bloodborne.
Bloodborne was. I mean,
They had to change the whole name of the subgenre to Soulsborns just to accommodate how good Bloodborne was to the genre.
yeah. I mean, yeah. The thing that gets me, right, is there's not many games out there that have literally tens of thousands of hours of video content trying to decipher the storyline of it, quite like Bloodborne. I think as a package, you said about Lost Legacy setting a standard for DLC. The Old Hunters is an incredible DLC. Like it is the blueprint of how a DLC should be approached and what it should add to the game. It adds so much to Bloodborne. And at Bloodborne, I think Bloodborne is my most played PlayStation 4 game. I think it was like 150 odd hours.
The same.
It was one of those games I streamed in its entirety, and I struggled my way through Bloodborne, and I still love it. I think I've beat it 5-6 times.
It's the first game I ever streamed on our Twitch channel.
Emotional.
See, emotions
watching you break.
Yeah. It broke me. It broke me, to be fair.
It breaks everyone, but it rebuilds you to be stronger and better than the former self. What I will say, though, is I absolutely adore Uncharted. I think I went on record in this podcast saying Uncharted 4 is an absolute masterpiece, and I still stand by it. I think Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy are a masterpiece of game making. I really like the Uncharted series. I don't much care for Drake's Fortune. It's fine. Really love 2. 2's a masterpiece as well.
Yeah.
3's excellent. And Golden Abyss on the Vita was, for a handheld Uncharted, unbelievable. I think as good as 3, if not a wee bit better. So are we doing this on the strength of Bloodborne? Or are we doing this on the strength of Uncharted 4 and Uncharted 2 are masterpieces?
Let me tell you the impact I see as the Demon Soulsborne games have had. They've impacted games I enjoy. I don't want to play Bloodborne and Demon Souls and all that because of the combat, right? And that's purely because it would frustrate me. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16 all have parry, block, shimmy.
Yeah.
Jedi Survivor, the Cal, those games, all follow the same. And it's like, this is like Bloodborne Light.
Yeah.
You know? And they're just following that Final Fantasy. I thought there should be turn-based. Now they're like Demon Souls. What is this? But what sways it for me, and I have to listen to it, is a tweet from Ben Starr, who says on the 30th March, "This is your reminder that Bloodborne is one of the greatest games ever made."
I agree with Ben Starr.
I mean, Ben Starr is absolutely right in that regard.
One thing I will say, and one thing I don't think gets brought up enough when Bloodborne, is we always bang on about the storyline being great. And Tomahawk, you brought it up here saying it's gotten no support since its Old Hunters DLC in 2016, I want to say, maybe 2017. Let's not forget, Bloodborne has infinite content already in it with the Chalice Dungeons. Infinite content. Bloodborne is the best game of the last console generation, bar none. I don't think any, as good as God of War 2018 is, as great as Uncharted 4 is, I don't think they come near it. I really don't. I think Bloodborne is that good.
Bloodborne has
fantastic.
This like infinite replayability, whereas I think I got to a point even streaming Uncharted 4 and went, I'm a bit done here.
It's because it's so story heavy and
I
driven.
I know when the story beats are coming, whereas like I don't know when I'm going to get one-shotted by a random villager in central Yarnum.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So we're sending Bloodborne Demon Souls.
We didn't even talk about Demon
Who
Souls
cares
either.
about Demon Souls? Like, what I like most about Bloodborne is we all played Uncharted 4 and we all had exactly the same experience in Uncharted 4. Tom, me and you both played through Bloodborne, and I can guarantee you right now we could tell each other stories of things that never and have never happened to to the other player. Everyone,
Exactly.
we all have a similar experience with Bloodborne, but no two players will ever have the same experience as Bloodborne.
Indeed. Absolutely right.
What a game.
And with that, Uncharted says goodbye.
That's harsh, but that is
Brutal.
how the random draw
Brutal
goes.
on poor Nathan Drake. What did he do to deserve that?
That means there's only 4 franchises left in this tournament who haven't yet been picked. And here's 2 of them.
Oh,
It's
no.
Crash Bandicoot versus Tony Hawk.
That's a no-brainer for me. But, well, let one of
I
you
think
please start.
and it's a harsh pick.
It's a no-brainer for me. Are we considering Crash Team Racing?
Absolutely.
I think we should.
Okay.
If
That
it
might-
gives it any much of a fighting chance.
I mean, maybe. Maybe. Who's starting? Do we start?
I would say I'm going to say Crash Bandicoot because I'm going to go for the emotional heartstrings side of this. Is what started the podcast.
It is.
Was our love for Crash Bandicoot, and I think I'm going to discount Crash 4 because I didn't really care about it.
Okay.
But Crash 1, 2, and 3, I have a very fond gaming history for it. The levels are brutally hard,
Yeah.
no matter what age you play those games at. But I think the sheer joy you get when you do complete, like Road to Nowhere, for example, just pure elation. I don't get the same feeling. And this is possibly because we did a speed run / high scores challenge of Tony Hawk. When it becomes a grind, I no longer enjoy the game because of the grind. I love Tony Hawk. I think Tony Hawk's a great way of how like a sports game or a...
Do you mean like the grinding down a pipe?
Quite literally, the grinding down a pipe, yeah, because my balance is terrible. Tony Hawk is great, but I think Tony Hawk, I get a very finite enjoyment from it.
Okay.
And you can change the map all you like, but the finite enjoyment stays the same, basically. So I'm going to go for Crash. I'm going to start us off on this one.
Okay. Chardonnay?
Okay. We are not to steal your thunder, love it, but you talked about Bloodborne being the best game on a PlayStation 4.
Yes.
We're probably talking about what could be the best game on the PlayStation 2,
Yes.
which of course is Crash Bandicoot. No, it's Tony Hawk. Or Tony Hawk 2. But which to be the best game on the PS2 across so many all-time greats is massive. The fact that it's coming back in 2025, 6, the franchise lives on as long as Tony does.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah.
I do love Crash Bandicoot, and when I think about what created the pod, and we started maybe during lockdown doing Crash Bandicoot speedruns against each other, and that was the initial idea. It reminds me that there's one game we haven't, or one franchise we haven't included, which is how we know each other in part, The Division. But that aside, in terms of this, I think it's Tony Hawk, because that's an all-timer. That's a go round to your mates and actually play together, have a lot of fun, or play with yourself, have a lot of fun.
Yeah. I am also 100% saying Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 is the best game on PlayStation 1 officially.
Oh, sorry,
according to
PlayStation 1.
Metacritic. Yeah.
Sorry.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, though, is also like rated like 94, 95% on Metacritic. It is one of the best games on PlayStation 2. It is one of the best games ever made, in my opinion. I think Tony Hawk 3 is the best Tony Hawk ever made. It's just an incredible incredible franchise of games, and I am specifically talking about the Pro Skater titles, and I'm conveniently forgetting Tony Hawk Pro Skater 5, which was awful. But Pro Skater 1 to 4 are amazing. I think the replayability of them is incredible. What I like about them is they are pure skill-based games where there is no skill ceiling because it's infinite, especially with 3 and 4 when you have the reverts, you have the manuals, you have everything on it. The skill ceiling just doesn't exist because it just goes crazy. What I love about Tony Hawk is, one, it's such a finely crafted series of games. Neversoft knew exactly what they wanted from it, and they did exactly what they needed. They incrementally improved it with every franchise, with every installment. But they never. I don't think a game has ever captured a culture as much as Tony Hawk Pro Skater has.
It's like a time capsule.
Yeah. It just captured the whole vibe of being a skateboarder. I think I've said it before in this podcast. I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 religiously, and I went out and bought a skateboard, learned how to skateboard because of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. It changed my taste in music. It's just an incredible
Thank
game.
goodness.
It's just an incredible game. It made a skateboarding 30-something, a worldwide household name. I think it had such a cultural impact. It captures that culture so perfectly well. It's such a great skill-based game. It has, I think, infinite replayability. I played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1, 2, 3, 4 for thousands of hours on the original consoles. When 1 plus 2 came out a couple of years back, I played another couple hundred in the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have it. I think it's just infinitely replayable. It's funny. It's, dare I say it, it is an almost perfect game. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, I think, is almost perfect.
Like,
I
it does what
honestly
it does.
And it does it brilliantly, and it had a lot of imitators and no one came near it.
Oh yeah. There's been no like game coming close. I think Skate as a franchise kind of started to lean into the silly and weird and wonderful, but like
Skate wasn't the same as it. Skate,
yeah,
I really
Tony
like Skate
Hawk's
as a
very
franchise.
grounded in what it could do and what you can accomplish, and I think that's kind of why it is so appealing.
Like Skate, I would argue that the opposite. Tony Hawk leaned into the absurd, where Skate was far more grounded as simulation. And by the time it hit Skate 3, they tried to capture that jackass vibe of the early 2000s that Tony Hawk was exploiting like
far earlier.
Yeah. And I think, Skate became, it was always going to play catch up, but it came to the party too late to make any sort of dent. I know people love Skate 3. In my opinion, Skate 3 is the worst one. Skate 1 was brilliant, buggy. Skate 2 for me is peak. Skate 2 is peak Skate for me. Skate 3.
Can we stop talking about Skate?
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Tony Hawk is smashing Crash Bandicoot out of this game.
Wow,
I love Crash.
So I think there's an episode in here to be talking about soundtracks.
Tony Hawk.
Oh yeah.
Various different games. Folks, this is the last two, and they're going to be pitted against each other. And one of them's not coming out alive.
No, this has been brutal.
It has been brutal. And what a way to finish, because the last two are the Spider-Man games versus Astrobot.
Oh my days.
Oh my goodness.
Now, here's what's really funny about this. We proofread the list before we fed it into the machine.
Yes.
I forgot that Astrobot and Spider-Man were even in this list, so I was half expected something a little bit different. So now
Where's Division? That's my question.
Just to spite Cardinal, because I think it would be funny, I'm going to vote for Spider-Man.
And that's all right. I think if Sherry was here, he might.
And I'm going to also include the Miles Morales add-on in this conversation as well. It's well included. I think part 1 of Spider-Man was unbelievable. Part 2 just refined it, even for like it just is Spider-Man with a Miles skin. They've like tweaked it, and you have a unique style playing as Miles with a really good story and a really good like set piece after set piece and good side missions and a different way about going about the city. And then Spider-Man 2, all I have played of is the trial.
Yep.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
That's
the best one.
Sandman fight. My days.
Yeah.
My days.
It is the best one. Spider-Man 2 is the best of the three.
And it's a credit to that game, that franchise, that series, where Spider-Man 2 has been out for a couple of years now at least.
Yeah.
No spoilers. I have had no spoilers in that game whatsoever.
Wow.
And I think that's a testament to the game as a whole, that like the community doesn't want to spoil it. Sony don't want to spoil it. They want people to be able to just experience this game raw.
Yeah.
Astrobot, brilliant platformer, brilliant for what it is doing for Sony, and you know, bringing that genre back and like revitalizing it big time. Yeah, it's a platform at the end of the day. Spider-Man just has this. Again, it's probably the bias of Spider-Man already holds that influence as a well established.
Like Batman's Batman, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man that way, yeah. It kind of is like also swaying my decision on this one as well. I love Playroom. I do need to get Astrobot as a standalone, you know, the new one. Think it's brilliant what they do. It's brilliant how it works, the PlayStation and everything about it. I think the character is great, and it's so appealing to a whole new audience as well. But I just think Spider-Man just delivers a little bit more.
Yep.
Okay, my turn. And then we'll put this on Lava, okay?
Yep.
Because I don't want to say Astrobot spanks Spider-Man out of this competition, but from what I played of the Astrobot, so when we had that tech demo for the PSVR, and you're moving along and looking around, and it's cool, and it's like in your controller, and then we move on to the VR game, which is sort of like, wow, we're getting more of this. This is class. It's sort of expanded. And then you get into Astro's Playroom, and that was like a lot of fun. That came out during lockdown. And I would just play through that, and it's like, oh, it's so PlayStation-y. It's such an advertisement for PlayStation. It doesn't matter anymore because, okay, yes, it built the franchise and we wanted more. Astrobot makes a nonsense of those games. If you go back and play Playroom, it feels dry and not lifeless, but just not the same. Astrobot is incredible, and that's why it's won Game of the Year. That's why it's won BAFTAs, and that's why I've been referencing it throughout this. This is the Sonic of PlayStation right now. That, you know,
oh yeah, my
child doesn't know anything about PlayStation, but she will quote Astrobot, you know, and she's 3. You know, it's crazy how good the Astrobot game is, and that's why it's not been on sale, presumably.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which is ridiculous. I think it is on sale at £50.
Yes, it is.
A whole $9.99 off. Like, yeah,
it is.
But that's why it's like I'm choosing Astrobot.
Okay, over
to you.
I am going to be the decider in this one. Spider-Man. What a great franchise! What a great franchise!
Absolutely.
But
Tomahawk's head just sinks.
There is only so much you can do with Spider-Man. Spider-Man 2, I think, is the best one of the 3, but it feels like an evolution of Spider-Man. Astrobot is probably the most versatile character currently in the PlayStation stable of games. You can put him in anything. You can do anything with him. I have not played Astrobot last year's game, but I have played Playroom. I have played Rescue Mission. I think Rescue Mission, I've said it before in this podcast, Rescue Mission is up there with, it's not just a great VR game, it is a great platformer, like a truly great platformer, and I'm talking Nintendo quality platformer. I think it's Astrobot. I think Astrobot has to go through. I think Astrobot is different gravy. Like, Rescue Mission was amazing. Playroom was amazing. I've said before, my kids love Astrobot. They love the camera Playroom on PlayStation 4 where you can spawn the Astrobots and stuff like that. I think it's just so much you can do with that character. I want Sony to do more of these types of games. And there's only so much you can do with Spider-Man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As good as they are, I just don't think any of the Spider-Man games, for me, have been as good as Rescue Mission as a game. Astrobot for me.
Until we all come together and play Astrobot proper, then yeah, that's it.
One day Astrobot's going to be a in-season challenge.
Yeah. Yes.
Oh yeah.
One day.
So does that conclude the round of 32?
Folks, that does. We have pitted 32 games against each other. Would you like me to read out?
So yeah, I think what we should do is read out the games that went through effectively. So then we're basically telling everyone what the round of 16 is going to be.
Here is the round of 16 as it stands today. On the left side, you have Tomb Raider versus Twisted Metal. You have Street Fighter versus Silent Hill. Oof. You've got Elder Scrolls versus Tekken. Wonder which way love is going to swing. And rounding out the left side is Batman, the Arkham series, versus Metal Gear Solid. Okay. On the right-hand side of this is Resident Evil versus Wipeout. The Last of Us versus Final Fantasy. Come on. God of War versus Bloodborne Demon Souls. Oh my days.
Ooh.
And Tony Hawk versus Astrobot.
It's
Let me
only
just
when
tell
you
you-
see that right-hand side of the bracket that is some big hitters.
The right-hand side of the bracket is stacked. Not to say the left-hand side doesn't have bombs in it, but there's going to be some bloodbaths on the right-hand side.
There is.
That's
There
going to
is.
be a cull, to say the
And
least.
It took us this long to get through the easier round. So I think we did make a joke earlier on this episode. We said this is probably going to have a part 2. This is definitely going to be a part 2. So we're going to leave it here as a cliffhanger. Look at that for content creation. Like that round of 16 is insane. Bloodborne versus God of War. That's going to be a massacre. One of our boys is going down, but that is a problem for next Monday. I think, gentlemen, shall we get to the wrap up section?
Yes, I think so.
Take us there.
And that is it, gentlemen. Another episode all wrapped up. The challenge is nowhere near wrapped up. There's some big matches to be played there. Every game has something to offer. That's why they made it through the first round, the round of 32 into the round 16. And there's some doozies. This is better than Champions League football. More stressful too.
It's very
It's a
much
lot on the line.
It is very much wheat from the chaff in the 32 round there. This last 16 here, it's some big decisions to be made here, and it's I think it'll be a bit more of a fight now.
Yeah.
I think we use this as the three of us. It always meant that there was never going to be a deadlock.
Yeah.
I have a feeling now there's going to be a lot of strong opinions either which way now. So I think it's not going to be as easily split now.
No.
For next week's episode.
And let's just say, we saw the wheat to the chaff. We've kicked out the Yakuza series, the Kingdom Hearts series, Siphon Filter, Batman, Spider-Man series, Devil May Cry, and Crash Bandicoots. And Uncharted.
Like some OG titles haven't made the cut as well, but it's the luck of the draw, I suppose. It's just how this has been set up. We did talk, do you put them as action adventures against each other? Do you put the Souls likes against each other? Do you put the horrors and all that kind of stuff against it? No, this is a far fairer system in a weird way.
I think so.
And it is. I think whatever comes out right, it will be, in our opinion, the correct opinion, the definitive.
Yeah. I mean, random is fair. There's a reason they get Ian Wright to come out every FA Cup draw day to pick the balls from that big white ball.
Yeah.
It's the only fair way of doing it. It is the only fair way of doing it. This was never intended to be a two-parter, by the way, folks. It's just we've been recording for a very long time here, and there's far too much conversation for a single recording session. So part 2 will be next Monday's episode, and we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing who wins this, because the winner is going to be a true champion, because that is savage, a list of games. But yeah, I'm not looking forward to that Bloodborne God of War one. That is
There'll be tears. There'll be tears.
yeah. But let's just recap all the housekeeping here before we call it. If you haven't already, give us a review, 1 star to 5, whenever you're listening to this. If you're watching it on YouTube, do you hit the like? Do you hit the subscribe button? If you want to give us a written review on any podcasting platforms, please do that as well. And don't forget to hit that share button and send this podcast to one family member or a mate who you think will enjoy this. And if you want to get more content from everywhere we are around the internet, the best place to do that is highstakes.com. And I don't think I've forgotten anything else. Oh, I do, actually. We have a merchandise. We have merchandise now.
We can sell stuff, yes.
Yes, the link to that is also on highstakes.com. On the top of the page, it says merchandise. Click it and be whisked away to our store, where you can buy mugs, stickers, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, the whole heap.
I can buy it right now.
Go check it out. But yeah, sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but as I said, far too much discussion tonight. There's probably going to be far too much discussion next week as well. But that's is where we are. The round of 16. Match of the round. God of War versus Bloodborne. It is going to be a bloodbath. We're going to be there. You're going to want to be there. So until we're all there, I've been Mr. Luvva Luvva. This has been High Scores, High Stakes. Thanks for watching. Love you all. Bye.
Bye.
Adios.